Welcome to World Code Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. The news alert flashes urgently across every screen, interrupting daily routines and sending a ripple of anxiety through the city. Megathrust earthquake imminent. Manila Trench shows signs of extreme stress. The headlines are stark, the warnings impossible to ignore. In Manila's bustling heart, millions go about their day, shopping, commuting, laughing with friends, unaware of the immense pressure building beneath the South China Sea, just out of sight and mind. The city, vibrant and historic, sits atop a geological time bomb, its fate intertwined with forces deep below the surface. This isn't fiction or a distant possibility. Seismologists are watching with growing concern, their instruments picking up subtle tremors and warning signs. Deep below, tectonic plates are locked in a slow, grinding battle, storing energy for centuries. Energy that once unleashed could reshape the land and lives above. When released, this energy could trigger a megathrust earthquake, the most powerful type on Earth, capable of devastation on a scale few can imagine. Imagine a typical afternoon, office workers typing away, traffic inching through crowded streets, children learning in classrooms, all unaware of the danger lurking below. Suddenly, a deep rumble grows into a violent roar, shaking the very foundation of the city and catching everyone off guard. The skyline sways, buildings tremble, and chaos erupts in seconds. Panic spreads as people scramble for safety, searching for loved ones amid the confusion. Manila's people are resilient, used to typhoons and floods, but this threat is silent and invisible, striking without warning, leaving little time to react. The question isn't if the Manila Trench will rupture, but when. Scientists debate the timeline, but all agree the risk is real and growing. 14 million lives in Metro Manila and millions more nearby hang in the balance. Every day the city grows, and so does the potential impact. Are we prepared for the unthinkable? Drills and plans exist, but are they enough for a disaster of this magnitude? The ground is groaning and we must listen before it screams. Early warning systems, community awareness, and preparation are our best defense. The city's fate and a generation's future depend on our readiness, our willingness to act before disaster strikes. The threat is real, the clock is ticking. Every moment counts as the city stands on the edge of uncertainty. Will Manila be ready when the earth finally moves? The answer lies in our preparation, our unity, and our resolve. The answer will shape the destiny of a nation and determine whether hope or tragedy defines Manila's future. Deep beneath the restless waves of the South China Sea lies a colossal force mostly unseen and often forgotten. This is the Manila Trench, a hidden giant, a deep scar etched into the ocean floor, stretching for hundreds of kilometers just off the coast of the Philippines. Here, two of Earth's most powerful tectonic plates meet in a relentless collision, locked in a slow-motion battle that has shaped the region for millions of years. The immense Eurasian plate is forced beneath the lighter Philippine sea plate in a process known as subduction, creating one of the most dangerous geological zones on the planet. This isn't a gentle slide, it's a grinding, friction-filled standoff, with rocks locked together under unimaginable pressure, resisting movement until they finally give way. Over centuries, this locked zone has stored up colossal amounts of energy equivalent to thousands of nuclear bombs, waiting to be unleashed in a single, catastrophic moment. When the plates finally slip, the result is a megathrust earthquake, capable of reaching magnitudes of 9 or even higher, one of the most powerful forces on Earth. The rupture would violently shake the land, toppling buildings and infrastructure, while also displacing massive volumes of water, unleashing a devastating tsunami that could strike within minutes. The Manila Trench lies just a few hundred kilometers offshore from Luzon, the Philippines' most populous island, meaning warning times for a tsunami would be terrifyingly brief, leaving little time to escape. For the millions of people living along Luzon's vulnerable coast, this hidden giant is not just a distant threat, it's a neighbor whose awakening could change their lives forever. Understanding the Manila Trench, its history, and its potential is the crucial first step in preparing for its inevitable awakening. Scientists and communities alike are racing to learn more, hoping to buy precious seconds when disaster strikes. The threat is real, the science is clear, and the countdown to the next great quake has already begun. The question remains, will we be ready when the giant finally stirs from its long slumber? Earth's outer shell is broken into tectonic plates constantly moving atop a semi-molten mantle. Where these plates meet, at fault lines, immense forces build. The Manila Trench is a subduction zone. The Eurasian plate dives beneath the Philippine sea plate. This process bends the overriding plate, storing vast elastic energy. When the plates finally snap, the overriding plate rebounds violently, unleashing a Megathrust earthquake. The ground surges upward and outward, shaking cities like Manila with catastrophic force. Seismic waves radiate, toppling buildings and infrastructure far from the epicenter. The quake's power often exceeds magnitude 9, sending shock waves across the region. This is the ticking time bomb beneath Manila, a slow buildup, a sudden, devastating release. The process is relentless and the risk is ever present. Understanding this cycle is key to survival. It starts with a deep, ominous rumble. Then, without warning, the ground lurches violently beneath everyone's feet. The city's pulse skips as the earth itself seems to roar. In mere seconds, Manila's dense cityscape erupts into chaos. Glass rains from high-rises, shattering on the streets below. Massive flyovers sway dangerously before collapsing in a tangle of concrete and steel. Vehicles are tossed like toys, thrown against each other, and into buildings. Inside offices and homes, furniture slides uncontrollably, ceilings crack open, and walls buckle under the relentless shaking, while older structures pancake in an instant, trapping countless people beneath tons of debris and dust. The shaking doesn't stop after a few seconds, it drags on for minutes, each one feeling like an eternity of terror and helplessness. Fires erupt as gas lines rupture and ignite, water pipes burst, flooding streets and homes, and the city's power grid fails. Communication networks collapse, leaving millions unable to call for help or reach loved ones. People are cut off, desperate to find family and friends. Hospitals are instantly overwhelmed, with injured flooding emergency rooms, while emergency services are crippled by roads blocked with rubble, making rescue nearly impossible. The city is plunged into total darkness, the familiar skyline now a silhouette against a starless sky, as thick dust clouds swirl through the streets, leaving crowds disoriented, frightened, and covered in ash and debris. In just minutes, 14 million people are thrust into a humanitarian crisis. The earthquake itself is over, but the struggle for survival is only beginning. People search desperately for food, water, and shelter, lining up for emergency supplies as uncertainty looms. This is the nightmare scientists have long feared, a city paralyzed, its fate hanging in the balance, the future uncertain. As dawn breaks, rescue teams begin their search, and survivors emerge from the rubble. The true test of Manila's spirit begins only after the shaking stops. The quake's force jolts the ocean floor, displacing vast amounts of water. A tsunami forms, barely noticeable at sea but racing at jetliner speeds toward the coast. As it nears land, the wave slows and grows, transforming into a towering wall of water. The first sign may be the sea suddenly receding, a deadly warning. With the trench so close, the tsunami could strike minutes after the quake. The surge crashes ashore, obliterating everything in its path and flooding entire communities. As the water recedes, it drags debris and victims back to sea, compounding the devastation. For the Philippines, the tsunami is a second catastrophe, swift, merciless, and deadly. Coastal towns could vanish in minutes. History has shown us the horror of megathrust quakes and tsunamis. In 2004, a magnitude 9.1 quake off Sumatra unleashed a tsunami that killed over 230,000 people across 14 countries. The lack of warning systems proved fatal. In 2011, Japan's magnitude 9.0 quake triggered a tsunami that overwhelmed even the world's best preparations, causing the Fukushima disaster. These events reveal the necessity of early warning systems, strict building codes, and relentless public education. The science is clear. The Manila Trench can produce similar devastation. The lessons are written in the rubble. Prepare for the worst, invest in resilience, and never underestimate nature's power. Ignoring history's warnings would be a fatal mistake for millions. The time to act is now. The past is our blueprint for survival. Scientists use GPS seismic sensors and sediment analysis to monitor the Manila Trench. GPS stations detect the slow, relentless compression of tectonic plates, evidence that stress is building. Sediment cores reveal ancient tsunami deposits, proving the trench has ruptured before. Seismic networks map fault lines and identify seismic gaps, locked sections storing the most energy. All data points to a sobering reality. The Manila Trench is primed for a massive quake. The recurrence interval is measured in centuries, but the cycle is nearing its end. Science can't predict the exact moment, but the warning is clear. The Earth's signals are growing louder. The risk is not hypothetical, it's imminent. We must heed the data and prepare. The devastation wouldn't end with Manila. The city is the Philippines' economic heart. Its destruction would cripple the nation and send shockwaves worldwide. Commerce would halt, Infrastructure would be ruined, and recovery could take decades. Millions would be displaced, triggering a humanitarian crisis beyond national capacity. The port of Manila, vital to global trade, would shut down, disrupting supply chains across continents. The loss of exports and remittances would destabilize the economy and families worldwide. Political stability could falter as governments struggled to respond. The ripple effect would reach factories in China, stores in the US, and shipping terminals in Europe. This is not just a Philippine crisis, it's a global one. The world would feel Manila's quake. No nation can face the Manila Trench threat alone. Regional cooperation is essential, sharing seismic data, tsunami warnings, and best practices. A unified warning system across the South China Sea could save countless lives. International aid can help retrofit infrastructure, enforce building codes, and relocate vulnerable communities. When disaster strikes, rapid, coordinated response is critical. Pre-positioned supplies, joint drills, and clear protocols. The first 72 hours are vital for saving lives. Individuals, communities, and nations must all play a part, raising awareness, supporting preparedness, and demanding action. The people of Manila are on the front lines, but the consequences are global. By preparing together, we can turn catastrophe into resilience. When the ground shakes, unity is our greatest strength.